Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Global Diamond Broker Hard Truth Diamond Podcast with your lovely hosts, the Global Diamond Stud.
Stud?
No.
Did you say stud?
No.
Sorry, I couldn't hear with this headset on.
What changed? We've been wearing this thing for a year.
I'm just kidding.
You're just getting old.
You know what it is? Even if you didn't say stud, that's what I heard.
I know.
Okay, that's what I hear in my brain. The
Whatever
diamond
helps
stud.
you sleep at night, honey.
Out there rollerblading the seawall. Apparently our social media is going to move into a lot more about me personally and my life outside of the confines of the diamond industry.
Hold on. You have a life outside of the diamond industry?
Yeah, we're going to start to, It's hard to believe, really. Neha, who just started with the company, who has background, we've talked about her. We talked about her last week on the call, or on this show, is... what is it, Neha? Oh, you're from India, where 9 out of 10 diamonds.
She's got a master's. Is that what?
Don't make fun of Neha.
No,
She's got her MBA.
Oh, sorry.
Her
MBA.
master's. I thought it was NBA when I hired her, so which is my favorite sport. No, she's got her master's of business administration and worked in a diamond business in India. Mm-hmm. And I think we both agree she's very lovely as a person.
Loveliest. It's
Lovely
exactly
woman.
what our office needed.
Very
none of that
bright, very capable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all those things. So fun to be around. I think at one point, because we run into each other everywhere I go, I thought it was another one of my stalkers. When you're the diamond stud, you get stalkers, right? You've got diamonds and you're a stud. Anyway, so let's talk about the diamond industry this week. And I heard, speaking of podcasts, and we're going to be making some changes to our podcast here. We're going to start to have guests and that sort of thing, which should be fun and exciting. Anyway, I was listening to a podcast yesterday on the Rappaport Diamond Report. You guys can Google this. I don't know if you can get the podcast up, but the head of, and I don't know his formal title, but he's the head of the Gemological Institute of America. His name is Tom Moses, and I first met Tom in 2002, a year where I had been at the Argyle Pink Diamond Tender in Geneva, Switzerland, staying at Hotel, do you remember the name?
De Bergay.
De Bergay, which at that point was one of the 3 top-rated hotels in the world for the Argyle Pink Diamond Tender. And it was interesting because when we arrived, the security's so high, we're told to go to Geneva, but we're not told where. And so we're
so you would know the day of kind of thing.
Yeah. When you get your appointment, it's quite interesting. And the security would block off the whole hotel, block off that floor. And I ended up that year buying what Tom Moses, now the head of the GIA, referred to as the 2 most important diamonds in that tender. And they were a 2-carat, the top of the tender book. You can Google this stuff.
What PP was it?
Pardon me?
What PP was it?
Oh, the PP, it wasn't, I believe it was a 2 or a 3 PP. That's what
Maybe explain to the listeners what a PP
was. The PP is the Argyle designation. So if you get an Argyle Pink Diamond, Argyle actually grades them themselves from 1 PP to 10, 1 being the most sought after, the most saturated color. But the other thing about Argyle is the diamonds that come out of there aren't big. And this was the GIA, that's the second certificate they get. So number 1 is Argyle. Number 2 is GIA. And GIA are no way. These large, wealthy, informed, knowledgeable businesses like the Argyle Diamond Mine, the most prestigious mine in the world, of which I was an authorized partner when the mine was open. they designate saturation of color grades. And this one, it's funny, you ask, it could have been a 4pp. I will have to Google it. But what it was massive for an Argyle stone, which was over 2 carats, and it was beautiful, you guys.
What shape was it?
Round, which is also very rare for Argyle. That was a good question.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. The other one was a less known color. It was out of the mine. It was a dark gray violet.
Ooh, that sounds
that
kind
I
of
acquired.
sexy.
In those days, I bought them both for $500,000 US, and people thought I was crazy. They used to say the rocks were in my head. Anyway, the 2 stones recently sold over $10 million US. That's how rare these diamonds are, right? The cover of the tender book, and there's more of them. And so,
don't you wish you held on to them?
At the time, it's kind of, it's an interesting industry. Of course, I wish I had held on to them, but I had a client for them, and the client's very happy today. He was able to liquidate them.
Love that for him.
He made a quote the other day on one of our posts about how he's known me for over 25 years and how amazing I am as a diamond broker. And you're damn skippy I am. Hey? Making you that kind of money. But the world of diamonds has changed so very much. And I'll tell you, since we're talking about this, I was going to talk about Norm Moses, the head of the GIA and lab grown. I'll come back to that. Is the Argyle pink diamond mine is unique in the world in that it's you don't have to worry about the regular issues you deal with diamond mines, like blood diamond issues, because they verify and laser inscribe their diamonds, like child labor issues, even environmental issues. And this is an interesting story about the Argyle pink diamond mine, is the mine itself literally is being filled back in. The mine closed a few years ago. Since you've been here, the mine closed.
What's the term again? We always go through this.
We said it's like not reconstituted or repatriated, but it's... Anyway, if someone knows out there, can you please send us the answer to this? Because we get it, then we forget it. But yeah, they're filling the land in. And what they did at the start of the Argyle pink diamond mine, which is 40 years ago now, by the way. By the way, it closed because it's mined out. There's no more diamonds to mine. Literally, they took topographical, that's a good word, eh? Mm-hmm. Topographical images, and as an agreement for the First Nations people to allow them to mine the pink diamonds, they said they would bring it back to exactly how it is. So they're filling in this massive hole, and even the trees that were there at the outset will be put back in. Not the original tree, but the same type of tree. Yeah. And so ecologically, it's going to be preserved as it was and just move forward with time, which is, if you're, a problem when you have mines in northern Canada where there's no deals like that,
or leaking mercury
Africa
into the ground.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So there's your Argyle pink diamond lesson for today. Hard asset investment only in certain categories, we found out. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the hard way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, beautiful diamonds, beautiful color, and there's a rare story to start today. But let's go back to the GIA and Tom Moses. So Tom was being interviewed yesterday along with the... Pardon me?
You said you don't listen to our podcast. How could you be listening to someone else's podcast?
Well, I'm in our podcast when I listen to it. Isn't that what the headphones are for? Yeah. Right? Like, I don't go back and listen to it. I find the two of us quite boring, to tell you the truth, most of the time. I mean, I'm quite cute, but... Mm-hmm. Like, I'm the looks for sure, right?
Anyways, continue. So, Mr. Moses.
So Tom, I was talking to Tom. I met him in 2002, and here it is. It's what, 25 years later, 22 years later. And Tom's talking about mined and lab-grown diamonds, and there's some things that I really picked up on. Like, one of them was, and he kept saying this, and so did the other scientists, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he's from China and a top scientist in the world, and whenever he spoke, all you heard was, "Wah, wah, 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 wah," like Charlie Brown's teacher. But because who the hell knows what he's talking about? I mean, talk about a foreign language. If he would have spoken Chinese, I would have understood more. But brilliant guy, and my favorite question he got to answer was the retail jeweler. And so they're taking questions, and the woman who was doing the interview, although she was lovely, really didn't seem to really grasp what was going on around her. And so someone says, and the way they always do, it's like U.S. politics. They state a fact like it's a fact when it's no fact whatsoever. And this person, and you can probably Google this podcast with Tom Moses and Rappaport Diamond Report. And, he says, the jeweler asked the question like, we've noticed with our CVD diamonds that after a while they go milky. Can you explain why that happens?
What?
Right? Like, it doesn't happen. And so you have this brilliant scientist, probably, I'm going to say he's the leading guy in the world. We have Branko Deljanin on our team, who's going to be on the podcast soon, who literally is one of the top guys in the world. But he goes, I'm sorry. He was trying to be so diplomatic about saying, that's just not true, right? Like he'd already gone on about how they don't change, how they're diamonds. I mean, this is a big thing. And then Tom Moses talking about I felt he was so caught in the middle because he's got this is the Rappaport Diamond Report, which are almost
anti-lab.
Well, not even anti-lab, just so pro-mine diamonds, and so.
You're telling me that Rappaport is not anti-lab?
Yeah, they are anti-lab. I mean, but they're softening. They have to soften because if they're going to be the Diamond Report, look, 2 out of 3 engagement rings are coming out of the laboratory these days. They say it's half, but it's 2 out of 3, and it's not going to change. And this year it's going to grow even more. So it was quite fascinating to watch this. But that was one of them. So look, whether it comes out of a mine or out of a lab, here's what you would take home from that: is they don't change. They're identical. They're not going to change color. They're not going to go milky. They're not going to do anything but do what diamonds do because they're diamonds. Mm-hmm. I said that well, eh? So then, over and above that is, what was the other thing I was going to say about it was Tom. Oh, here's the other one, is they both kept going on about, and this one kind of baffled me, about how beautiful laboratory diamonds are consistently.
No.
Huh?
They're not all.
They're not all, but you can afford all, to own beautiful ones. And
what's your beef with that?
It's not a beef. It was like, why are they saying this to this crowd? So is it better to spend more for an ugly... Oh, I think Branko just texted me, actually. For a ugly mine diamond? Like, does that make sense? Sorry. Like they this color thing that's, really been a lie the industry told, that somehow a H or I or J is anywhere near the category or the beauty of a D. And here's the other thing that confused me, is if you have a D color and a D color GIA certified laboratory grown mine diamond, let's say they're flawless. We've been selling quite a few flawless lately. And let's say that they're identically cut, identical in every single way. even the formation of the crystal, whether it's in a lab. I saw another thing yesterday about, they took 3 billion years to form near the center of the earth, trying to romance it. No, they didn't. They formed in the exact same time. It takes an HPHT, because this one, if you listen, mimics how it happened in the universe, not that it makes a difference whether it's CVD or HPHT. It's quite fascinating stuff. Anyway, at the end of the day, a diamond's a diamond. What the beep?
That's really creepy.
Yeah, that was creepy. Shutting a door.
And it was very creaky. Like,
yeah, it was very squeaky. Maybe it's a sign to get WD-40 and do the joints. I'm taking that as a sign to do the. I don't know if you guys could hear that squeak. We're a little windy up here. The girls are cold where I'm not. I'm hot as, to tell you the truth. Is that wrong? Anyway, so yeah, it was an interesting interview, and the facts that came out, look, they don't change. They're all the same. They're made the same. Even comments like this. A jeweler asked another question. Melee, and those are the small diamonds. You see them everywhere all the time. The shoulder of rings, inside of rings, all around rings. Your hidden halo, all this. And they said, is there a way to tell the difference? They haven't been able to tell the difference for 30 years. But the answer comes down to, well, no, there's no real way to tell the difference. And so, I'm curious what the mined diamond industry does with this. They're going to have to live with it the way they have, right? If there is a mined diamond industry. I mean, I hate to say it, but, Tom talked about mined diamonds being rare, and I sort of chuckled because...
Which diamonds are rare that come out of a mine? Like white diamonds?
Yeah.
Because that's a complete farce.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you could, Judy, it's funny. You could almost tell that he knew better, but the audience is Rappaport, and you can't say it.
Then don't go on the show. Stay true to yourself,
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
He's caught between a rock and a hard place with representing the best interests. And he would say, this is a personal opinion. He was like, right now we have all over social media is the head of the Secret Service. And she keeps trying to answer questions by not answering the question, or it's quite interesting. She's in some sort of review before the Congress, and she's really doing poorly. Both sides, the Republicans and Democrats, all want her out of there. Horrible thing that happened for U.S. politics and the people regardless. But this is how I felt Tom Moses was being. Like in the better, and the scientist just kept saying, "Oh, Tom, you answer that one." Right? The science is straightforward.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would have been a hard watch.
Awkward. That's how I felt. Yeah. It was awkward. Anyway, Tom, you answer that one. And I think, why would he? It's simple science. They're the same. It's simple. One comes out of a mine. One comes out of a laboratory. Nobody can tell the difference.
And what's the other difference again? Price.
And price. Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. So anyway, that's it in the world of diamonds this week. I mean, you can't not look away. It's like a bad accident what's happened with the mine and laboratory diamond industry. We just can't look away. And nor should we. Nor should we be looking away. The industry has changed. It's changed forever. It's changed in a big way. The melee, they're never going to be able to tell the difference. What does that mean for you as a consumer? What choice do you make? We talk about the blood diamond issue. I mean, Russian diamonds are in the pipeline. The Russians are the number one producing mines in the world right now. when there's supposed to be embargoes against them to stop them from producing blood diamonds to finance the war against the Ukraine. I mean, the world's upside down. The diamond industry is equally so. I had someone posting mean stuff today on our Instagram that just doesn't know what they're talking about. And this is the thing that I find. Very few people really know the facts. We're the global diamond broker. These are the facts. Or there's 5,000 US. Bet me. Bet me on anything. Anyway, how was that, GIA Judy?
So good.
Yeah, right?
As always, you're amazing, Colin.
Thank you very much, GIA Judy.
So
I couldn't agree with you more. You're pretty amazing yourself.
Oh, I thought you meant you couldn't agree more with what I was saying about you.
You got that right. Okay, are you kidding?
Anyways.
Like, along with being the diamond stud, how about words like narcissism,
Egotistical,
self-centered, hunky?
Alrighty, you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.